And welcome once again to the South Australian Sports Show on this Friday evening. Wonderful to have you with us. I'm Katrina Webb, co-host, joined by Ben Hook. We've got a great program for you this evening. As always, we have wonderful guests, sporting guests from all around South Australia. We try and cover as many different sports as we can, and we are doing that with you here tonight. We've got a whole range of different people coming. At the end of the program, we'll be giving people golf tips for people out there that are having trouble with their golf games. Stay tuned and stay to the end of the show, because we'll be giving away some great golf tips with David Warcope and Warren Simons from the Mount Lofty Golf Club.
Well, welcome back. I'm David Warcope, club captain at Mount Lofty Golf Club. And I'm here today with our club professional, Warren Simons. Channel 31 has produced, in conjunction with Warren, a series of tips which we'll be showing you over the next few weeks. But firstly, a little about Warren. Warren has been a club professional for quite a few years. Can you tell us a little about your background, Warren?
Thank you, David. Well, I've been a professional for 24 years now. Actually, I did my training to become a professional here at the Mount Lofty Golf Club. Finished my time in 1983. I stayed as the assistant professional, all under Ted Williams, for another 3 years. Then I went off and played in some tournaments and did some work, etc. Went to Harndorf Golf Club in 1990 as their first professional. Came back here to Mount Lofty in 2002, actually October 2002. Been here for nearly 5 years and really enjoying it. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Warren. Warren has recently achieved Master Professional status, which we're rather proud of here at Mount Lofty. Master Professional status, what does that actually mean, Warren?
Well, in the PGA, there's actually 4 different classifications of professional: single A, double A, triple A, and Master Professional. It's all voluntary to be part of. I went into it 15 years ago and have studied and done assignments, etc. And to become a Master Professional, you have to be triple A for 8 years. And it is as an honour, which I take very highly, and want to now use that to develop golf.
Well, thanks, Warren, and Warren's doing that successfully with junior clinics here at Mount Lofty. Well, now let's pass to the first tip.
Warren Simons here. I'm the club professional at Mount Lofty Golf Club. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the most important parts of golf, and that is the grip, or in other words, the way you're holding the golf club. In all my years I've been teaching, playing tournaments, playing with amateur and club golfers, I would suggest that approximately 70 to 80% of golfers don't hold the club properly. If you're not holding the club properly, it is far more difficult to hit the ball where you're supposed to go. There are actually 5 different golf grips you can actually use. I'm just going to briefly cover 3 in this session, which could hopefully help you with your game. If you have very small hands, like a lot of juniors do and some ladies do, the best grip to use is what is called the 10-finger grip. You'll notice here with my hands I've got all my fingers touching the club and my 2 thumbs, my left thumb down the centre and my right thumb down the side. Please, if you do use that grip, please make sure that your hands are not separated. It makes it more difficult to hit the ball properly. If you have very short stumpy fingers like some men do, the best grip to use in that case is what's called the interlocking grip. In other words, the index finger of my left hand and the 5th finger of my right hand interlock. And that is the best way to try and control the golf club. However, most golfers, you'll find, need to use the overlapping grip, which is the grip per chance I use. And with that grip, you overlap the 5th finger of your right hand underneath your left. Your right thumb is to the side and your left thumb is down the center of the shaft. Now what you'll find with this grip is that both V's, they're in the webbing of my hand, need to go to my right shoulder. Now I'll invite Tony to come along now. Now Tony will hold the golf club the way he normally holds the golf club. Now what Tony's doing there is typical of most club golfers. Their grip is nearly correct, however with his left hand here he needs to have his left hand just over a fraction more so that that V is going more to the right there, and his right thumb needs to be over a fraction more so that it's touching the index finger on his left hand. What a lot of club golfers will tend to do is that their left hand tends to be over too much here and their right thumb tends to be on top of the club too much there. If you do use that grip, yes, you'll be able to hit some nice shots at time, but unfortunately you won't be able to hit the golf ball consistently where it's supposed to go, and it also makes it more difficult for your pitching, chipping and bunker shots. So please try that grip, see if it works for you, and hopefully it'll shave shots off your golf game.
Well, welcome back, and we hope that tip works for you. The tip, of course, will only work if you use patience and perseverance, because they're the two things you need to improve your game. Thanks, Warren. Well, Warren, membership at golf clubs has changed significantly in recent years. What do you put the changes in terms of the structure of membership at golf clubs down to?
Well, a few things, David. People's lifestyles have changed so much, particularly in the last 10 years or so, with people working longer hours, more flexible hours, 7-day retail, etc. So therefore the traditional hours that most people used to play golf has changed, and therefore golf clubs have had to change their policies and some of their membership and playing vacancies to accommodate this changing world.
Here at Mount Lofty, to accommodate that, we've introduced a couple of categories. One is casual membership, and one, of course, is the pay-as-you-play category. How have they been received?
Very well so far, particularly the pay-as-you-play, because it is really a membership that is tailor-made for an individual's recreation time, so they can balance work, family and their golf, and it allows them to still have a handicap, play competition when they like, but still be within the game of golf and not just have to give it up.
Well, thanks, Warren. Warren, just in the last few weeks, the pennant season has come to a close. How did that go, and what else is happening here on the local scene in golf in South Australia?
Well, golf in South Australia at the moment, there's actually lots happening at the moment. We've just finished the Simpson Cup final, which was played a few weeks ago, which Grange defeated Glenelg 6.5 matches to a half. Very surprising that the final was very one-sided, but a few other mentions of the Simpson Cup. First of all, Thaxted Park, I think, deserves a very special mention because they won the A2 section in 2006, promoted up to 2007 into the Simpson Cup and finished, I think, 4th. Great effort. And also Teachery Gully's Brett Crosby, who was undefeated for the season, playing generally at number 1 or 2. That's an outstanding performance. Unfortunately, Teachery Gully were relegated. The A2 section, the final was between Riverside and the Vines, which Riverside was successful 4 matches to 3. The Vines were actually undefeated and for the first 6 matches of the year, lost their 7th match and then unfortunately lost the final. So it'd be very disappointing for them. Riverside slowly combined and slowly built as the season went on. So congratulations for them as they go into the Simpson Cup in 2008. Other things happening in South Australian golf at the moment. The South Australian Junior Girls and the Schoolgirls Championship is being played right now at the Teachery Gully Golf Club. I think the final's on for that today. So all the best to the girls there. The South Australian Sand Greens Championship is actually going to be played at Yankalilla and Peterborough Golf Club on Saturday, Sunday, August the 11th and 12th. Sand greens, or a lot of golfers will know them as scrapes, totally different game. One of the things of being a good player is to be flexible, to be able to play well in all conditions. So therefore, that'll be an interesting event to see how that unfolds. There's another chap called Brett Crosby, not the same one from Teachery Gully, from the York Peninsula, is a star on the sand greens. So I would suggest if he's playing, he'll be a big chance in that. The Varden Trophy is being fought out the last few rounds over the next few weekends, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. On the PGA front, there's a few things been happening lately. We've got the PGA trainees. There's about 10 of them in South Australia, and they play trainee matches mostly on Mondays. Their season is about halfway through. They have a slight recess during the winter season. At the moment, the leader on the order of merit with 134 points, and I'll try and pronounce this correctly, is Mikhail Radobratovic from Highcombe Golf Club with 134 points. Nick Rugos is running second at the moment from the Grange Golf Club, 131 points. Also last month at the Kooyonga Golf Club, the Kooyonga Cup was played, which is an annual match. The winner of the Kooyonga Cup this year with 143 for the 2 rounds was David Luteris, who we would all know very, very nearly won the Jacobs Creek earlier in the year. And his career is going ahead in leaps and bounds and may well be on the US Tour next year now, which would be a fantastic feat for a South Australian player. Nathan Kent shot 145 and was second. Cody Sherratt, trainee from Blackwood, very good performance, running third with 147. Also, the South Australian PGA circuit has just finished. The winner of the Order of Merit was Paul Spargo, another South Australian boy with 80 points. The runner-up was Ewan Walters with 78 points. Ewan Walters is a name that's familiar to us because he too won the Jacobs Creek around about 3 years ago and then was on the US Tour for the following 12 months. So that's the standard of golf in South Australia, and this type of play that comes to South Australia for our events is, as you can see, very, very good indeed. Also, the Riverland Open was held just about 6 weeks ago, Winner of that was Greg Rhodes, a very good player from Mildura, has been for at least 20 years now. Greg won quite convincingly, and one of his rounds at Renmark Golf Club was 66, which for all those of us who have played Renmark look at that and go, wow, what a good round. And that's really what's happening in South Australia at the moment. David?
Thanks, Warren. That was very comprehensive. Of course, on the international scene, there's quite a few young players coming to the forefront, and in fact, Jason Day did very well on the nationwide tour last week. Can you tell us a little about Jason and any other of the juniors who are making names for themselves on the international scene?
Yes, certainly, David. To win the nationwide event that he did last week at age 18, or 19 I should say, is absolutely outstanding effort. The number of Australians doing well overseas: Jason Day, Nick Flanagan, Mark Leishman, Aaron Price, as we all know from the Australian Open last year, who outstanding effort there. And as I mentioned earlier, South Australia's David Luteris is going very well, and it's very, very strong possibility that Australia could have at least 20 players on the US Tour next year. And from a small nation of 20 million people, that's absolutely outstanding.
Thanks, Warren. And of course, the British Open starts next Thursday. What are the Aussies' chances in this event this year?
I think there's a few Australians have got a good chance in the British Open this year. Of course, Tiger will be favourite for the event, as Tiger always is, and he's the one to beat. Out of the Australians, Jeff Ogilvy, I think, will do well. He hits the ball a bit high, but which may not suit on those windy conditions. I think Nick Ahern might be the best Australian. Actually, he tends to hit the ball a little bit low. Uses the long handle putter, and no one has really won a major using that yet. But there's always a first, and he's around the mark every week. So I think he'll be close. Stuart Appleby finished third in the US last week, so he's a very good player. Had a very good US Masters as well, so he must be right in as the main contenders.
Okay, certainly looking forward to that starting next Thursday. Well, Katrina and Ben will be back next week. Thank you for watching the South Australian Sports Show.